All right, old souls. Happy full moon. I felt guided to share a few ideas from the heart, from the path of an old soul myself. And whatever will come through for the benefit of the whole, for the benefit of the collective. Thank you, Julie says, you are luminous. I love this. Luminous. So good. Yes. Welcome, beloveds. I'll greet you for a few seconds to allow other people to join. And as you know, usually when I open the space for transmission, we go deep, holding nothing back, real talk. And yeah, let's see where transmission will take us. Always my intention is to be the empty vessel. I set an intention. I say, I surrender to not knowing. I allow the transmission to come through. One of my friends on Facebook just asked me a couple days ago, he said, Katerina, do you channel Thoth? Thoth is the god of wisdom, Egyptian deity. And it was so funny because I don't call it channeling per se. I call it connecting to the infinite intelligence and being empty enough for the transmission to come through you for the service of the collective. Whether it's channeling or not, it's being available for service and letting go of your agenda and being present in the moment. I believe that's my service, you guys. That's my service. How do you like my new pendant? Look at this. This is, maybe on the black you will see. This is Kuan Yin. My ally, Yvonne de la Flor, gave me this pendant, you guys. This is Kuan Yin. How many of you know Kuan Yin? She is the feminine Buddha, revered all over in the East, in the Eastern tradition. She is the great emanation of Divine Mother, of compassion. And there is a reason why I'm sharing about her. Because as an old souls, one of the qualities that we get to cultivate and lean back on again and again is self-compassion. Self-compassion. So I'll bring it back. Yeah, people say, I love Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin is amazing. So my ally of light, Yvonne de la Flor, brought me this necklace and it's right on my heart. So I really, really love it. So you guys, I'll share with you a little bit what's been on my heart. And full moon, for those of you who follow the full moon, I really love this understanding that full moon is the metaphor of being illuminated from within. Allow this energy of full moon to illuminate your heart, to illuminate your consciousness, and for you to really see, do you allow yourself to be fully expressed, to be fully seen with your gifts? And do you allow yourself to continue taking creative risks? Because to be seen in your mystical gifts requires a lot of risks, a lot of risks. So I'll share a little bit about that. Karuna, compassion, I see your comments. Okay, a lot more people are joining, so maybe 30 more seconds and then we'll go. But you guys, while people are joining, I just came back from an incredible experience, Odyssey, leadership, initiation, immersion, and rite of passage that I got to lead with my ally, Yvonne de la Flor. And you guys, it was such a potent event. Something really powerful happens when we gather as a collective during these cosmic portals, like spring equinox, fall equinox, summer solstice, winter solstice. It is no coincidence that those portals have been revered by people from, thousands and thousands of years, because it's like a concentrated energy and a cosmic alignment, and we can let it pass, so we can really harness the potency of this energy. So my intention for this full moon, and especially it's in Aries. Aries is all about being bold, being courageous, and connecting with your own leadership, right? So I feel that's where this full moon transmission can go. So, darlings, old souls. Somebody asked me the other day, Katerina, what happened at 2012? What happened in 2012? And I really sat with that question because I wanted to bring a deeper understanding of the magnitude of what really happened on our planet. We experienced a shift of collective consciousness, you guys, in 2012 towards heightened perception. Basically, our ability to see, our ability to feel, our ability to intuit these deeper truths about the universe. The deeper understanding of who we are, why we're here, and what is our life mission? What is our assignment? If you connected to the title of this transmission, Old Souls, this is for you, then I imagine that you are an old soul. And as an old soul, this is not your first rodeo. You came here through the veil of forgetting. You forgot who you are, why you're here, right? So you start on a clean slate like any other human. But you came here with more developed DNA, with ability to tap into your DNA, and with ability to remember more rapidly. You came here with a specific set of gifts, with specific gifts of skills, right, and abilities. And the more gifts and abilities you have, the more comes responsibility with actually utilizing them, right? Putting them to use, putting them for the service, for the benefit of all. And from 2012 was a collective shift towards heightened perception, right? As you can see, from 2012, right now it's 2018, 6 years ago. Where were you 6 years ago? What happened? What happened that shook your awareness up and accelerated your awakening? And the next milestone we have 2027, which has been prophecy after prophecy after prophecy, you guys, that we will reach a critical number as a collective for the fifth dimensional frequency to stabilize on our planet. This is exciting prophecy, but it requires our full participation. And this is why my message is for us, you and I, an old soul who cannot stop your remembering. Even if you wanted to, right? You cannot. So, darlings, I remember when I was going through my rapid awakening. And before that, I was really lost on the path. Some of you know my story. Was lost for many, many years. And some of my most miserable years were when I felt the weight of my gifts, where I felt like I carried so much potential. I carried so much untapped power, so many gifts, so many abilities, extrasensory abilities, right? And I didn't know how to accept them, how to activate them, and where to channel them. It's almost like, you can be so good at so many things that is paralyzing. Where do you channel? Where do you channel this power? Crystal says, I feel this now. So you can relate, right, Crystal? I can see your comments. Yeah, so my invitation to you, if you don't have clarity, you are going through a deeper level of training. Your gifts are being developed to the next level of power in a way, right? And when you are ready, your dharma literally comes to your door. Your mission literally stops tapping you on the shoulder. It is so obvious you cannot miss it. There is another, okay, Crystal says, I don't know how to put myself out in the world. I have so many things to offer, but I'm scared. I am so glad that you spoke to this, because this is going to be a part of the transmission that I felt really guided to bring today, you guys. Because what I see a lot happening in the old souls is this archetype of a reluctant leader. Reluctant leader. This is very, very common archetype in the spiritual community, in the conscious community. And I wanted to address that, you guys, because it exists. And I always wonder, why is that so? Why is there this reluctance to even take that responsibility and that, that noble task to be the way shower for others? Because it's you and I who are being called upon right now to be the light bearers, to be the way showers. And a lot of times, you guys, what I see holding people back is the fear of what will people think. And especially if you stand up and you begin to share spiritual guidance with others. So for example, you guys, I recently leaned into a creative edge. I teach esoteric stuff. I teach entrepreneurship. I teach mindset, spiritual growth, all kind of topics, right? Because I truly believe the signal of genius is versatility. This old paradigm of niching yourself, it is really, really old. Even idea of niching myself feels suffocating to me. So I gave myself a giant permission to create from the heart, to follow my creative impulse. So recently, you guys, I leaned into my esoteric edge and I offered a class called Working with Ascended Masters. Some of you have seen me share that, right? And I kind of figured that I will, get a little bit of a negative feedback, from those who are not ready to hear that. And I did. I absolutely did. So somebody, I made a post that somebody said, somebody who doesn't know my work at all, so complete stranger, right? Somebody said, what a bunch of superstitious bullshit. What a bunch of superstitious bullshit, right? So you will get stuff like that. With the powerful progress that I notice in my self-worth, in my inner power, is witnessing that comment with zero emotional charge. Zero emotional charge. It was like, interesting. Thank you. Even a year ago, that comment would hurt my heart. Why? Because I have such a reverence for these benevolent guides. Without their help, humanity would be completely destroyed. We would self-destruct 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, you guys. Our planet, humanity, is constantly being guided and being assisted by benevolent beings of the highest light from many different advanced civilizations. You can call them, they're from the future. They're the greatest time travelers who assist our planet, who assist all of us in making through the most powerful evolutionary journey of our civilization. We call it ascension. Shifting our vibratory rate to a next level of dimension, to a unity consciousness. Letting go of the old paradigm of survival, of separation, of competition, of envy, of jealousy, right? Without them, we would not make it, you guys. So that comment, even a year ago, would absolutely hurt my heart. It's like somebody disrespects a teacher, your beloved teacher right in front of you. What was so beautiful this time, you guys, and I just wanted to share with you this process, that I did not take it even close to my heart. I simply witnessed it. Interesting reflection of your consciousness. This statement showed me that statement, that comment was a hologram of that person's consciousness. And darlings, what was so beautiful was simply like that. I remember I said a prayer of protection, and I said, may what I share be visible for the eyes who are ready to see. May the transmission that I share be heard by the ears who are open to understanding, because wisdom only comes to those who seek it. Wisdom only is open to an innocent and pure and virtuous heart. So darlings, this is really, really powerful. This is really, really powerful. You know, it was a big, big shift for me, right? And the more you, because you can't stop your calling. Here's the truth, right? If you are an old soul, you cannot silence the big calling. You cannot. And the more the 2027 is approaching, the next, how much we have? 8 years, 9 years? Can't really count math right now at this moment. But you guys, right from today to 2027, it's almost like a clock is ticking. And the pressure, the inner pressure, the urgency that I feel as the core of my responsibility, what is the mark that I'm here to leave behind in the most accelerated decade of our life? And is the fears of my personality for looking weird, awkward, too far out there? With the fears of my personality, are they really that strong to stop the mission of my soul? So that's the very first thing that I see that kind of feeds the reluctant leader archetype, is the fear of public criticism. It's the fear of what will people say, right? And I'm here to tell you guys and to share with you, if you are here, if you live in surrender to your higher power, be prepared to disappoint a lot of people. Let them be disappointed. Let them criticize you. And focus on those people who have the ears to understand what you share. My sacred ally, Yvonne de la Flor, took me aside during Odyssey, and she says, Katerina, you cannot downplay your teachings. You cannot dilute them. You cannot downplay them. You cannot. And it was really powerful for me to receive from somebody who I consider my ally. You know, because that voice, you guys, so that voice, am I speaking too advanced? Is it way too ahead of its time? I made peace in my heart and in my soul that I am an empty vessel for the divine. And I am here to serve those who have the ears of understanding. So beloveds, old souls, you came here already remembering so much. You came here searching. You came here seeking your path, right? And you cannot stop this remembrance. It's only going to unfold more and more and more. So eventually you will realize that the ones that you are meant to connect to, they will find you. But if you dilute your teachings, if you dilute your message, if you dim your light, you're only gonna attract people who also dim their light by the power of attraction. So I encourage you to continue to take in creative risk. What is the offering that you would love to offer that if you let go of the amount of money that you think it's going to make you, just let go of that. The moment you start thinking profit, and I know maybe it's going to shake some business mentoring side of me, but stay with me. The moment you start counting the profit before the impact, you already lost your spiritual power. And I'm not saying that profit is not important. Profit is very important to sustain a lifestyle that you require to lead powerfully. Focus on the impact first. What is the offering that really stretches you, that you are scared to offer? But you walk around, you go somewhere on the street, and that's the first thing you talk to about with somebody who talks to you about, right? Take creative risks on your path. This is the requirement. If you don't take creative risk, your offerings have no power. Boldness is a requirement of genius. So that's the number one, you guys. Let go offer. I love it. Are there, okay, let me check your comments because they're very potent. Brittany says, that's been exactly my fear this past weeks. Are there even enough people ready to hear what wants to come through me? Brittany, I love you, girl. Thank you for sharing this. Let me tell you something, darling. 2.5 years ago, I offered my very first karmic clearing class. Karmic clearing. You guys, I went through 3 different online brands in less than 3 years. Every year, I would birth a new brand because my consciousness would evolve so fast. And I felt trapped in the old brand that I've built. And I decided, screw this. I'm going to allow my business to evolve at the speed of evolution of my consciousness. And Brittany, darling, I remember with the trembling hands making an offer. Hey guys, do you struggle with repetitive negative patterns in your life that you feel that doesn't even come from this lifetime? I've discovered the power of clearing thousands of years of karma, and I've discovered spiritual technology, how to do that. Brittany, do you know how many people joined that class? 3 people. 2 of them were my brother and my sister, my spiritual sister and my spiritual brother, who always support all my classes that I birth. And 3 paying clients. And you know what? I served those 5 people like I had 500 in the group. And that is the principle that I always carry, always bring, no matter if my class has 60 people, 100 people, or if I have 5 people. Numbers, irrelevant, because when you serve one, you serve the whole. And also, the great book of Tao Te Ching. Read the Tao Te Ching, the Jinki 3, and if you have a Tao Te Ching book, read what is it called? I can't pronounce it, but Tao Te Ching number 3. It's called difficulty at the beginning. It's a universal principle. Whenever you birth something truly original, something truly creative, something that comes from your womb, from your creative womb, my dear woman, you can count on difficulty at the beginning. Count on it. You know, this is what is required for you to birth that vision into reality. So my very first karmic clearing course was 5 people. You know, next time I offered was 22 people. Then eventually that karmic clearing course turned into frequency shift program that I have. The latest class was 60 people. You know, it started with 3, went to 60. And it continues to grow because every time I deliver it, I make it better. Every time I teach it in a new way. Every time I trust the transmission to come through, that I don't need to know what's going to come through. I can be just an empty channel. So the principle number 1 is difficulty in the beginning. Count on it, welcome it, and just accept that people who are not even you meant to serve will have very strong opinions about what you're offering. And at this point, I only accept, helpful feedback from those people who are in the arena with me. Like Brené Brown says, who are in the field with me. If somebody offers me an opinion, an advice, and they're not in leadership, they're not in service, they're not leading courageously, I do not even listen to it. I completely tone it down, tone it out. Because it's really easy. It's really easy to throw, especially online, where a person would never approach you on the street or on the conference, would never say something to your face. But online, a lot of people will have very, very strong opinions of how you should serve or how you should lead. Only take those perspectives from people who lead courageously, who serve higher purpose on the same level as you. But let me tell you, those people who serve and lead, they are so into their mission that the only time and space that they have in their calendar is to actually praise you and say, "Oh my God, girl, go. I see you. Keep shining." That's what I found. That's what I found on the path, you guys. Listen to only who are those on the path. The rest, thank you for showing me the hologram of your consciousness. Because every comment, I can see where a person is at simply by what words they choose to say. Right? So can you, if you just pay attention. So old souls, the archetype of reluctant leader, we are going to be pushed and nudged out of this archetype stronger and stronger and stronger because of the urgency of the timeline. 2027, the time is ticking. The second point that I wanted to share with you, darlings, my old souls, is reluctant leader archetype will be reluctant to building community. I actually had a conversation with somebody who said to me, well, I would like to be invited. I was like, what do you want to achieve in your business? I would like to be invited to retreats. I would like to be invited to teach, right? I don't want to do the work myself. I don't want to organize. I don't want to learn how to do the system. I don't want to build community. There is no leadership without community. There is none. There is none. And maybe your community begins with 3 people, 5 people. And you create community. To me, is the field of consciousness. We forgot how to build strong communities. And a true leader leads very gently, almost like from behind, allowing others to shine more and more and more. So, old souls, we will be called upon to build communities. And I see a lot of you here already doing this. And I honor you guys because I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy. You know how many stories my higher self asked me to let go when I stepped on the path of leadership? The story of me being too introverted for community. The story of me absolutely despising phone conversation and not wanting to get on the phone and talk to people. The stories of me not being, salesperson. Years ago, that was a big block for me. Now it's one of my biggest strengths, is ability to sell. If you refuse to master that skill, you don't have a business. You're never going to be an entrepreneur. And learning to sell with integrity, with dignity, with commitment to your client's ultimate transformation is an absolute requirement on this path. So let's summarize, old souls. Fear of what people think of you. If you're going to start offering true, authentic gifts from your heart, true, authentic offers, out of the box. The more out of the box, whatever is weird, whatever you think that is weird about you is exactly your medicine and your soul gift and your offer. But it's going to take all your courage to offer that. All your courage. And people will have very strong opinions about that. But you and I already know who to listen to, who to not, right? So that's the first one, being able to step into the spotlight more and more. The second one is building community. Really begin reading books about leadership, about communities, volunteering in communities, right? Creating your first gatherings. Maybe it's just your home, but really learning to be with groups of people. Because in leadership, eventually you'll be asked to lead groups. It's very, very important, you guys. And the third key of what really supports you and I, old souls, and the galactic assignment that we all feel in our bodies, and we can't silence that calling, is our willingness to embrace entrepreneurship. And our willingness to commit to developing our business side. So many times I see such gifted healers, speakers, teachers who develop 30 years of mastery of their craft and who incredibly disempowered in their ability to build a structure that supports their gifts, whether it's building their online platform or building their skill set in business. The basic ones are what, you guys? Ability to sell, ability to market, ability to deliver world class. And in the beginning, you do all of that. You wear so many hats. And some of you guys are here, you already know that it's that, right? It's that. So seeing yourself as an entrepreneur, it's so interesting. So many entrepreneurs are here. Hi, beloveds. So many entrepreneurs are here. Seeing yourself not only as a teacher, as a guide, as a speaker, as a motivator, or as an influencer, but seeing yourself as a powerful entrepreneur. Without that, you will never achieve the level of sovereignty that you came here to achieve. Ability to create your own economy, ability to develop your mastery holistically in such a way that you really, whatever is going on outside in the matrix does not touch you. Because you know where your infinite supply comes from the source. Right, you guys? So a lot of people ask me, yes, Kyle says, your business is a reflection of your consciousness. Yes. And the reflection of your business skills. Reflection of your consciousness, that's the frequency of your business that you bring, but also reflection of your business skills. So not ignoring that aspect of your ministry, of your leadership. But really, you guys, like for me, I'm just going to be transparent with you. For me, I would say my weakest spot in my ministry right now is marketing. It used to be sales. How many years ago? I would say 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, ability to sell was the weakest point. And I come from the sales background. But let me tell you, when you start offering your gift, your superpower, number one, you don't even know how to articulate what you do in the way that people can understand and grasp. That takes time to arrive to that clarity, right? And that takes willingness to be awkward in how you talk about your business. That takes willingness to be deeply misunderstood, right? And keep failing forward and keep finding your way. Like the more you talk to other people about how you can support them, The more you hear yourself expressing that, the more clarity you receive from that. But so many people are afraid to go even there. You know what I mean? Afraid to go even there. And then, darlings, so it's having this really honest. So if my area of marketing is weak from my perspective, I have very, very high standards. What is the number one empowering choice I do? I throw myself in study marketing. I feel I am a natural marketer, but it's a natural talent. I desire to take it to the level of mastery. Why? Because it's going to bring me to the next level of sovereignty. So this is what I encourage you guys to hear and to see. As old souls, we came here to bring the new earth, to bring that reality and to embody that paradigm. The only way we're going to make a difference is by modeling what we believe in, right? You know, it's almost like when I tried to preach to my family for so many years, consciousness, meditation, you know, spiritual living, and my relatives would look at me like an alien. Who is this woman? You know, there is no prophet that is welcome in your town. And years go by, and then I finally dropped all my preaching and all my pressure of my beliefs on my relatives, and I just began to deepen into my embodiment. And more years go by, and I stopped talking completely to my relatives about what I do, how I live. I simply began to live it. And you guys, not only my family came to empowerment so much faster, they started coming to me when they were ready. But I have a very, very deep suspicion it's because it took them time to watch years of congruency, not perfection, congruency. Means when I would make a mistake, and when I was rude or impatient or completely not that congruent, I would pick up the phone and say, Mom, I didn't show up as my best in the last conversation. I'd like to take ownership of that. And I'd like to start again. Congruency, right? Not perfection. And then they start coming to me. Katerina, what happens after death? Katerina, what happens? How do I find peace? You know? So as old souls, this is our calling, darlings. From my perspective, take it if it resonates. Whatever I share, please, I ask you, take what resonates. Let go what doesn't. But we are being called upon to bring this new paradigm through embodiment, through congruency, and through modeling. And to fuse the spiritual and material. You know, the time of aesthetics, where people would deny the desires of the body, or experiences of pleasure and experiences of good life, right? That is the old paradigm. And then another paradigm is only the body, only the material, and disconnection from the spirit. We are here to fuse two worlds. That every person you interact with receives your light, not through your words, but through your aura. And that is a powerful vision that really excites me, you guys. Really excites me. So everything I offer right now, I look through this lens. Does it fit into the 10-year ascension cycle? Will whatever I offer, will it uplift the humanity? Will it bring more light? Will it help stabilize the fifth dimensional frequency on this planet? Very, very simple to find an answer. What do you desire to birth and to create and bring forward? If you know, looking back 10 years from now, did it really matter? Did you lean into your creative edge? Did you offer something that was absolutely terrifying for you and absolutely thrilling and so congruent with your soul? How are you receiving this, darlings? How are you receiving this? I don't want to go too serious on you, but as you can say, yeah, things are changing. Helen says, I believe Helen, I totally agree with you. We are redefining marketing. We're absolutely redefining marketing. You know what I'm referring to, darling, is ferocious commitment to developing mastery of the business world as a conscious entrepreneur, not letting all your attention just to go into your mystical gifts, which is very, very important. It's almost like, we're embodying that masculine and the feminine balance. As within, so without. As within, so without, right? I know when I lose my balance and when I just operate only from my feminine, right? I lose all the structure. Or if I only go through the masculine, too much fire, I burn out. So it's a delicate balance, which requires what? Presence. I read it in one of the spiritual books. Now I struggle to remember that ascension, the most beautiful definition of ascension, guys. Ascension of consciousness happens moment by moment of your pure presence. Take this in. That sounds very, very simple, but it really moved me. Every time you are deeply present, not in the past, not in the future, simply here, available to all, open and willing, your consciousness going through ascension. So ascension is not like this big leap. It is and it isn't. Ascension is a continuing shift of your consciousness. So every time you find yourself being radically present, you're going through ascension process. Take this in, darlings. This is really, really powerful. Yeah. Old souls. We carry so many gifts. What is going to be your creative edge? What is going to be the next expression of you? And are you willing to offer it, even if you will be required to stand alone, feeling really awkward, feeling so out of the box, embracing difficulty at the beginning with your full, open, and innocent heart? Because that is the whole reason you will even feel the desire to offer that. As I say, you guys, every creation heals you. Every creation heals others, and every creation heals you. So a lot of times, sorry, darlings, I'll take a look at your comments in a moment. A lot of times, I am taking quite a bit of integration between my creations, because when I offer a container that looks like a master class or a course or a live event, it's a container of transformation of consciousness, right? That you as a teacher, facilitator, you go through activation first. That is why if you lean into what you truly desire to offer, what's really going to stretch you, not only that process is going to heal you, that process is going to expand your consciousness. And that's not going to happen if you're going to choose to play safe or if you're going to choose to imitate what others are doing. Imitation is gray, imitation is bland, and imitation does not have any power in it. Remember that. The more original, the more bold, the more innovative. I was listening to the Gene Key 3, darlings, Gene Key 3. How many of you know Gene Keys? How many of you live your Gene Keys? If you don't know, Gene Keys is a really, really powerful transmission, truly ahead of our time. But for old souls, is like a nectar of the soul. For the old souls, you are on the leading edge. You desire the transmission that ahead of its time. Isn't it so? Of course it is. That's why you and I here having this lovely conversation. So Gene Key 3, you guys, you have the book, read Gene Key 3 every time you launch or you would love to launch a new offering. And the Gene Key 3 goes through the shadow of chaos, the gift of, is it the gift of creativity? I know that the city of innovation. I'm not sure if I got the gift right. I believe it's a creativity. But it goes from a chaos to innovation. And I was listening to this Gene Key again today, you guys. It was really, really powerful because he says, chaos always signals a new birth. So if something in your life stops working, it's because you outgrew that container. And you got to let it go. And you got to allow the chaos of your own creative mind to come in and be with that difficulty in the beginning. And in order to break through to innovation is much higher on the frequency scale than even creativity. You know, right now it's very popular to talk about creativity, right? Look at the TED Talks. People understand that the real currency that is in demand right now is creativity. You know, no amount of artificial intelligence can compete with creativity. It's something that robots cannot compete with humans. So if you really would like to be ahead of your time, is begin to harnessing your creativity. But Richard Rudd says there is much, much higher than creativity, it's innovation. And you gotta be on a higher frequency to be able to tap into a field of innovation. Field of innovation, you guys. It all comes down to the frequency. If you're in the shadow, you're gonna only be in chaos. You know, comparing yourself to others, feeling not enough, having so many ideas, not knowing what is the timeline, you know, what to offer first. That's why constantly, where is my heart? Where is my frequency? How is my aura? Am I at peace? Am I consciously present this moment? The higher you raise your frequency, the more you'll be able to tap into the field of innovation. So read, oh, Stephanie, I adore you. Thank you, darling. Look at this. So she just wrote, the shadow of chaos, the gift of innovation, and the city of innocence. Boom. That's it. So a true genius has innocence. You know, its ability, like, look how children create. When children create, before they are damaged with creativity scars, if they have the right environment, right? Supportive parents, they create, every creation is beautiful. Every creation is so innocent. So this is kind of my barometer of how I create, you guys. Is this creation is birthed from the place of my innocence? Because innocence has a magnetic effect. You know, innocence has boldness and it has magnetism. It has the ability to travel great distance and magnetize those people who are looking for that creation and whose innocence of their heart recognize the innocence of the creation. So let's see. Innovation creates the container. Oh, Ronnie. Hi, you guys. Kyle says that is often the most vulnerable piece. 100%, Kyle. 100%. You know, if I offer something to social media and my hands are not shaking when I make my first post, I did not lean into my creative edge. And you guys, so many times people get surprised that I have self-doubts, that I have days where I don't want to be online, where my self-worth is inconsistent, where the pendulum swings. What liberated me, you guys, is a full acceptance that those days will come as long as I am in the human body. So self-doubt, uncertainty, low self-worth, inconsistent self-worth, fears, they are these vibrations that come with the vehicle of a physical body. Oftentimes, they're not even personal. They're simply part of being in a physical body. It really liberated me. The moment I accepted there's going to be days where I'm going to feel like I really don't want to be in the spotlight. That I'm going to be not even days, maybe hours. And the more I accept that, the more swiftly I move through those moments. And the more I stay connected to humanity, the more I appreciate being human. Those low moments actually help me stay grounded, help me to stay humble. Because the human ego, you guys, can be really tricky, especially the spiritual ego. The spiritual ego is the trickiest of all. Because the moment you will start seeing results of your work in the lives of your clients, it feels really, really good to your heart, of course. And watch out for that spiritual ego, and that's why the low moments and the challenges keep us grounded and keep us humble. Humility is essential for leadership. True humility, not the false one, where that you are you are the vehicle of higher consciousness to work through you. And especially if you surrendered your life to the service of the source. So really, really beautiful. Do you guys have any questions? I know I went really total free flow, as was intention. Let me take a look. Yeah. I love your comments, Helen. To walk this path, we need to be willing to lean into the discomfort more than most. That's it. And being so transparent that, hey, yes, I'm in leadership, but I am human just like you. And the worst thing that your followers can do is to begin putting you on a pedestal. That is the worst thing, right? Why do you guys think it's the worst? Do you have any specific tips for creating online courses? Yes, darling, I have, but I don't have the container to share the specific tips in this live stream because I already gone for at least an hour or 45 minutes. There is many ways, online courses. Maybe I'll teach this one day, you guys. I've done so many of them and continue to do that because I don't wait for perfection. My number one tip for you, don't wait for perfection. I know a person who's been building one program for 4 years. You're already so into the past. The future moves, the present moves so fast that you gotta get it into the world and perfect later. You gotta be willing to reach out to people and ask for feedback. Hey, I just delivered this course. How did you receive it? How was the journey for you? Very few people will do that. But maybe I will do a training on this, you guys. I do want to tell you, darling, so this is not a call to action. I have nothing to offer you, this live stream. But what I experience is interesting because I teach these deeply esoteric topics that is incredibly fun for me, right? Because, you know, it's because for me, I just, it all comes down to your ability to harness your spiritual power. When the shit hits the fan in your business, and if you don't know how to tap into the inner security, you're done. You're done as an entrepreneur. You know, or you pretend and you use different, you know, tranquilizers or uppers or whatever, you know, whatever stimulants you use to power through the shitstorm and continue to hustle and slay. But then at 40 years old, you get a heart attack, right? So for me, how I see it, it's your ability to tap into your true spiritual power. That is why I teach metaphysical topics. Because in order for us to truly stabilize this fifth-dimensional reality, heaven and earth, the three-dimensional tools are not adequate enough in a fifth-dimensional reality. You know? So like really constantly opening yourself up. How else can I expand my metaphysical toolbox? How else can I unfold my spiritual gifts, my spiritual genius? So that's part of what I know I'm here to serve you guys, right? And then I balance it with entrepreneurial courses and the business courses. They keep coming back. I took a break for a few months. I'm like, okay, I'm only going to teach spiritual stuff, and it's coming back. And how do I know what's coming back? I pay attention to what people ask, what people reach out to me. If I have 10 people in the week reaching out to me, Katerina, I need support on entrepreneurship. Can you help here, here, here? And this is a teaching point for you guys. Pay attention. Listen deeply to your community. Number one, you have to have a community, right? You have to have a community. You have to build a community. There is no leadership without community. And the reluctant leader archetype will be a really challenging one to overcome. But once you do, once you start building a real relationship with your people, once you start seeing that it's real people, right? With their challenges, with their dreams, with their visions, and you care, and people really, really can feel that you really care, then your community begins to grow. And it doesn't matter how long it's going to take you. It's going to take you 7 years, 5 years, 10, who cares? When you serve one, you serve the whole. That's the mindset that I take. And that's the mindset I teach. And that's why, you know, some people cannot sign up for that. Because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of visibility. It's a lot of vulnerability in the public way. But number one is community, right? Growing your community. Maybe that's going to be a next class. We'll see. So if you already have a community, do you listen to them deeply? I call it keeping your hand on the pulse of your tribe. You know, like when Cody was on this live stream. Cody from Australia. Australian people, Australians, you guys are awesome. I've recently just welcomed a few Australian clients, and I love you guys. I love people from every continent, but I've never worked with Australians. I love you guys. So Cody, who was in my frequency shift class, reached out to me and said, Katerina, when are you going to teach the Ascended Masters class? To me, this is the voice of the community. It's not just one person who is asking. It's community speaking through one person, and I listen. I don't ignore it. One person is asking. If there is one, there is two, there is three. And I get to lean into creative edge and bring that container, bring that offering to people because they're asking. So keeping your hand on the community is very, very important. 33 viewers. Yeah, darlings. You know, it's a balance. So spiritual activates you when you teach it. business grounds you. And I believe as old souls in the fifth dimension, we're here to embody the new earth by fusing the spiritual and the physical, by fusing the masculine and the feminine, by healing the split. If it's a unity consciousness that we're here to experience, then everything material is spiritual. Everything spiritual, connected to the physical, right? Now you embrace all of it, and you just see, it's this beautiful way. It's a truly tantric way to live, you guys. Tantra is a philosophy of life where you see sacredness in everything. You see sacredness in what looks like a criticism. You see sacredness in what looks like a big test. You see sacredness in the unknown, in chaos. Because once you remembered oneness, there is nothing in your way. Take this in with me. This is really powerful, you guys. Once you really know there is only one of us here, what is left for you is to be present to that oneness. And when you're present to the oneness, you hear exactly what you're required to know to take the next step. And take a next step, and take a next step. Trusting the creative impulse. And the more you trust your creative impulse, the more bolder that creative impulse will become. Because how boring would that be for you to create the same thing? Even if you try, it's impossible to create the same thing. You cannot step in the same river twice. I really like that. I really like that saying. You cannot step in the same river twice. That's why, you guys, whenever I teach a class, even if I teach frequency shift, it's like my core program. Every time I teach it, it's a different transmission. And so many times I attempted to offer it as a self-study course. I'm like, guys, my consciousness is in this class. It's powerful. Go through it. A lot of people say, we want to have a live experience. So if those of you who want the live experience, it's going to be probably in November. Yeah, November, I'll teach it again. Because it's a really powerful time to let go. At the end of the year, you got to let go every day. My prayer right now, you guys, is I let go. Many times throughout the day, I let go. I let go. Because the mind will come up with different plans for your life, with different agendas. If you really surrendered your life to service, and if you know you're here to be in unity with all things, the only prayer that is left, I let go. And I trust, and I surrender, and I allow. So old souls, every creation, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to share with you one more. Because a lot of times people don't know how to price their offerings. That's a little bit more in the business talk. But here's one thing that really liberated me. And I have offerings at different levels. Super high-end, mid-tier, and more accessible. Right? This is how I see how I price everything that I offer. Whatever I create, it's a snapshot of my consciousness. Whatever I create is a hologram of my consciousness. So, if you really believe that you're here to embody Christ consciousness, divine feminine Christ consciousness, divine masculine Christ consciousness, see how you structure and you price your offerings through the lenses of that. Because people come to you not really because of the content. Yeah, it appears so. They come to you for your consciousness. This is what all comes down to, the consciousness, you guys. All comes down to the consciousness. the more you expand, the more you value, the more you see yourself as the divine being, the more you begin to actually value your consciousness and who you let into your field of consciousness. And that really helps to release any old ideas of low self-worth or inability to receive and all of that. People come to you because of your consciousness. And it still doesn't diminish our responsibility to develop ourselves in a business way. Because this is a very potent medicine. To have a conscious person committed to service to the whole, who is also a badass in business. Conscious entrepreneur in integrity, in congruency, and in service to the collective. Whoa, that's a potent mission. That's a potent mission. So, maybe for some of you guys, even making that choice, I'm going to share something with you. The Wayne Dyer formula. Be, do, have. So you got to be it first. I remember 5 years ago, I declared in my own living room, nobody saw it, and I think I wrote it in the journal, because once you declare, your words are powerful, declare it into this field and write it down. I remember I said in my living room like this: I am Katerina Satori, international teacher of higher consciousness, empowerment, and enlightenment. And I wrote it down in the journal. I believe my very first international opportunity to be in that role came 3 years later. 3 years later. So I ask you, and I invite you, I don't even ask you, I invite you guys to declare the new level of identity. If you cannot even see it, you will never step into it. And I invite you to see it from the place of 10 years into the future. What identity do you dare to embody? What identity? Let's see. I love you guys. This is really powerful, right? It was so good to be with you. I really see no separation between developing yourself. It's such a waste. It's such a waste when you have a powerful gift, whether it's a writing, speaking, healing, serving, and the fear or reluctance to develop your skill, how to present that gift to the world. If that gets in the way. And I just invite you, no matter how long it's going to take you. I go really obsessive, whatever I learn. And with the amount of free information available on the internet, you can take yourself on your own at pretty decent level. I hired my very first coach after I was in business, in my own entrepreneurship for 3 years. I went through so many conferences, books, video courses, group programs. There's really decent level you can take yourself by yourself. And I just invite you to throw yourself into that accelerated learning process and develop yourself on both sides, on the mystical and on the physical. So you are an integrated human being, a true spiritual badass. And then eventually you'll reach a glass ceiling in your growth where you will be required to allow the support in. And it's going to be deeply uncomfortable, and it's going to be incredibly scary, and you will feel unprepared, and it's going to require all your faith. And your healing will happen during that process, because you will realize what entrepreneurship can do for you guys, what entrepreneurship did for me. I'm going to share with you one more idea and I'll let you go. I let myself go too. But one of the things that entrepreneurship did for me, it helped me let go of fear of losing money. Do you know how many people are completely paralyzed by that fear? Doesn't matter how much money they have in the bank. How many really ridiculously rich people that you've met who have panic attacks and anxiety attacks because they cannot trust life, that their funds are safe in the bank and their investment, whatnot. And they're walking around paranoid, afraid to lose what they worked all their life. And I don't diminish what it took them to build that wealth. But if you cannot transcend that fear, you're never free. You're never free. And what entrepreneurship did for me, darlings, is help me transcend that fear of losing money. You know, when I was just learning accelerated way, I invested everything that I had, every single saving, everything. Emptied all my savings towards learning process. And I'll never forget the moment where I went from an amateur to making a decision to go pro. There is a book by Steven Pressfield called Turning Pro. And it's a pivotal moment happens in your soul where you go from something being your hobby, something being, you're an amateur. You're standing on the sidewalks, you're watching others do their thing, but you know in your heart that you're not fully committed. You're not gonna go all in. So when you really go all in, you will never forget that moment. And I remember, it was like my last $5,000 in, what is it called? The retirement fund. I don't even believe in retirement. But I remember it was my turning pro moment. And I made an investment that was actually didn't serve me at all. That $5,000 went to a program that I didn't receive. It was not that relevant to that stage, but I thought it was. And I have no regrets because it served me to turn pro, to go from amateur to go all in. So how I see entrepreneurship is a great boot camp to break through deep, deep limiting beliefs that majority of people will never dare to go there, And you become, when you transcend that fear, you begin to take bigger and bigger creative risks. You begin to stay in that gift of innovation as your normal way of being, guided by your innocence, asking, what would I desire to express next? That was the biggest gift for me, you guys. So just a little bit of that. If you are in your entrepreneurship path and you're not challenged by the fear of losing all your money, you have not turned pro just yet. It's only going to be a matter of time where you'll be required to make that choice. And a powerful initiation when you really turn into entrepreneur is your ability to transcend those fears and your ability to trust your gifts and to trust the moment, to trust your path so much that fear doesn't run you anymore. So that's the message that wanted to come through, you guys. Crystal says, I need to have patience with the process. Absolutely, darling. Absolutely. Patience, patience, patience. Don't quit your day job too soon. That's another entrepreneurial wisdom that I have. I see so many people jumping way too early. And I say, it's going to take you much longer than you expect. And it's going to be much more difficult than you think. And that's a good thing, because you're going to be sculpted into such an unstoppable entrepreneur. If you give yourself the patience, if you give yourself permission, yes, to take big risks, but also trust your pace. I think there's an amazing book, you guys. It's called, I'm going to find the screenshot. It's called The Quitter. And it's all about this entrepreneur he wrote the entire book, how not to quit too prematurely. So many times, I think twice on my path, I quit my freelancing jobs too soon. And, I leaped too soon, and the landing was painful, but I recovered. And I learned the patience and learned the humility. I also learned the discernment to read the current of life. When is the current of life opening for you? Or when are you trying to just, burst and force your way through? So there is a delicate balance, right? Depending on how long you've been on this entrepreneurship path. Sometimes there is a lot of patience to wait, watch for the current to open, for that window to open, for the door to open. And there is absolutely no shame in having some kind of a cash flow job for you, so you don't serve out of desperation. You know what I mean? So, but that's another topic on the entrepreneurship topic. But really, really trusting your path, you guys. If you just knowing when you're ready, your calling is gonna just be so strong. You cannot silence that voice. And if you know you're already ready and you are stuck in a reluctant leader archetype, then listen to this transmission if you just joined, because there was a lot of conversation on this topic of reluctant leader. All souls are going through, many of them are going through reluctant leader archetype. And it doesn't serve the planet. It doesn't serve the expansion of the planet. And on the other side is the creative rebel. So creative rebel will help you let go of the reluctant leader. And it's a beautiful process. You're never going to be the same. You're never going to be the same. Allow, accept, embrace. Yes. Yeah, you guys, keep your freelancing jobs, until your soul gifts completely support you. There is no, take a great pride in every single source of finances that comes to you. Whether you're scrubbing floors, serving dishes, build websites, whatever you do, right? And you build your community, you build your offerings simultaneously. That is I believe there's a really, really grounded way to build your dream, instead of, just following some motivators who say, go follow me in the promised land. And you jump completely unprepared and you burn your wings, and you get humbled, you get started again. And for me, since you guys are still here, for me was what really helped me in the beginning of the path. I said, Katerina, how many years you want to give this experience you call entrepreneurship? And I said, I am willing to dedicate 5 years. I'm willing to take 5 years of not being paid, 5 years of continual investment, continual growth, 5 years of very minimum social life, 5 years of intense dedication to my path. And if after 5 years I don't see any traction, I'm going to accept that as a very humbling experiment, and I'm going to redirect and rebuild my life. So if you did not have this conversation with yourself, this could serve you. How many years are you willing to dedicate to your dream? How many years? Is it 5? Is it 7? And having, because that's the conversation you get to have with your logical mind, with your human mind. You know how you say, sometimes I take my clients through this exercise and I say, what's the worst case scenario can happen? Let's look at that together. Because some part of your mind will be at peace that you actually dare to go there. If you don't dare to go there, you're going to be haunted by those worst case scenarios in your dreams, in your nightmares. Your subconscious mind will present these different circumstances in your life that just a reflection of your frightened mind. Might as well meet your frightened mind head on and say, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? I go all in. What's the worst that can happen? Can I accept that reality? And if you can, you will be able to take much, much bigger risks. And you'll be able to pace yourself in this process, to see it more as a marathon, not as a sprint, you know? And to not compare yourself with others, because the gifts that you have and the gifts that I have are radically different. And I think it's so beautiful, right? It's so amazing. How boring would that be if we all had the same gifts? So that's a little bit of a share for you guys. You know, really there's this urgency and there's this invitation from the ascended masters, from the galactic beings who support us, to us old souls, to let go of this fear of being seen as awkward, weird, and out of the box, because the good news, you already are seen like that, whether you want it or not. Might as well to come out of the closet completely and say, this is my gift, this is my offering, this is my genius. And asking for help every step of the way. You know, I'll never forget, you guys. there's so many I'll never forget, you guys, moments. But when I first I was working on my very first ebook, on my very first brand, I remember I said a prayer. I said, Great Spirit, I am about to embark on a great adventure. Please send me people of highest integrity, people of pure heart, with incredible skills that I am still lacking, that I commit to developing. Send me that support. That's it. You know, I pray my way through this entrepreneurship. I pray my way through it, not as a beggar, but as a sovereign woman who stays connected with my multidimensional team. Archangels, angels, ascended masters, gods and goddesses, and ultimately Divine Mother God and Divine Father God. And this is why I believe for me personally, to be the embodiment of the new earth in this incarnation, I focus on continually expanding my metaphysical power. Because if that is strong, I can meet anything and everything that life brings me, and anything and everything that my business brings me. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys. This is the long transmission. And if you just joined, I think there was quite good moments here. I love sharing from the heart, not scripted. Today I didn't even put any bullet points. I just trusted the moment. And allowing this transmission to find the heart and the soul that is meant for. And invoking the Great Spirit to actually hide this transmission from those people who are not ready to receive it. And you can invoke the same thing for your messages. Intend for the message that you share, especially if it's really out of the box, to be seen and to be heard by those people who are ready to receive this gift, to receive your authenticity, to receive your vulnerability. And for those ears who are not ready to receive it, may your transmission be covered by invisibility cloak. That's right. I love you, darling, so much. And this was incredible to share the time with you. My call to action is, if you are if you would love to completely up level your spiritual metaphysical power, I am leading a live virtual masterclass. It's like a journey. It's 2.5 months journey every other Sunday for 7 weeks. Journey with Ascended Masters. And you guys, I don't teach mystical esoteric stuff without practical application, because otherwise, what's the use of my time? What's the use of your time? My intention for this journey is to really create a sacred container for your mystical heart to get nourished, for your mystical soul to get connected or reconnected with your multidimensional team. And I've been waiting for this portal of opportunity to facilitate this training. It's incredibly sacred to my heart, because once you start working with Ascended Masters, you invite a real force into your life. Once you create an opening in your life for their frequency to stream into your life, you invite a next level of miracles, synchronicity, serendipity, and mastery. You invite accelerated spiritual growth. You invite accelerated ascension. And more than anything, whenever I teach like frequency shift or any kind of spiritual trainings, I always invoke Ascended Masters. Always. So in this journey, you're not only going to learn about 7 different Ascended Masters and 7 spiritual lineages that they carry, you also learn how to invoke them, how to receive a specific healing technology that they bring. Every single master brings a very different, unique spiritual technology. Multidimensional frequency. So, powerful journey. We have an intimate group. This is definitely for sacred rebels and the misfits. And it's gonna be deep, you guys, and very practical. And every master wanted to come through every other week. So we journey with one master for 2 weeks. So you really get to know that being. You really build a genuine relationship with them. And it's really powerful. So if it calls you, if you know it's for you, tomorrow the early bird enrollment ends. So it's a really, really good, I don't like the word discount. It doesn't feel good to me. But it's early bird investment is more accessible than the regular one. And tomorrow it ends. So this is going to be the last metaphysical class that I teach this year. I will be teaching frequency shift if life supports it. I hold my plans very loosely now. Very, very loosely. If life supports it, I'll teach it again in November. But this is one for my advanced people, for advanced souls and for old souls. And if, for me, you guys, when I remember the first time I heard about Ascended Masters almost 10 years ago, I was looking everywhere for this information. I was looking I wish somebody would take me and say, Katerina, this is the journey. This is how you invoke them. This is the rituals that you do. This is how you work with their healing ray. This is how you work with their spiritual technology. You know what I mean? I wish. Instead, I was like, how do I get connected with these beings? So this is the container for that. And, let's see. Brittany says, do you think that we have certain masters assigned to us, or we can invoke whoever we want, or both? Great question, love. Great question. Your body knows which one you're drawn to. So it's almost like the moment I heard Thoth, Egyptian deity of wisdom, right? He was the scribe. The deity was the bird head. He's so amazing. Thoth. He is the great architect. He brought the language, architecture, music, arts. He is the keeper of Akashic records, the god of wisdom. So the moment I heard his name, it was like electricity through my body. Whoa, I know this master. I remember him for many, many lifetimes. So you journey through with specific ascended masters through many lifetimes. That's why even their name will be like, oh, I recognize it from somewhere. The same thing with the goddesses. You know, one of the classes that I will teach is Journey with Ascended Goddesses. But it's probably next year. It's really powerful when you start working with the goddesses. But they're on a different plane, you guys. So Ascended Masters are the most relatable to us. They were humans just like you and I. And this is why when you start working with them, it's almost like you have such a powerful team on your sides. Beings who are humans, who understand how difficult it is to be in a human body. It's not easy. It's not easy. They don't have the human body anymore. You know, they have light body that they get to travel through many dimensions. They're the great time travelers. So if at least one human was able to achieve that, what does it show to you and I? That it's absolutely possible for you and I. So if light body, Merkaba activation, you know, fifth dimension and beyond interests you, this is the journey. And we work together and walk together and commune together for almost 2.5 months, you guys. So let me know. Yeah, Hermes. That's right, Aaron. Hermes. That's another name for Thoth. Hermes. Yes. I love it. I love you guys. I love you guys. The same thing, you know, like Queen Yan. When I learned the story of Queen Yan, she was with me even before I recognized that. She was around me, and her protection was around me for so many years. And the same thing for you guys, you know, Ascended Masters, they will only call you when you're ready for the next level of ascension. So if you're drawn to be like, I'm interested, I'm curious, it's their way of magnetizing you to them. And it's really powerful. So check it out. If you want to learn more, just click on my Facebook banner. It says Ascended Masters. Or look through a few of my posts underneath this video. There's a link to learn more and everything. So it would be an honor to have you. And I really hope you received a few nuggets from this transmission. It's a late one for me, and it's a late one for you. And I just love sharing with you guys. Oh, okay, one more. Katie says, when does it start? It starts this Sunday. This Sunday, darling, at 3 p.m. Yeah, absolutely. Brittany, I hope to see you in the class. I love your questions. But you guys, it starts this Sunday, and it's 3 p.m. Pacific. Every class is recorded, of course, and replays will be both in audio and the video. A lot of times my students like to listen replay on the audio to receive a deeper integration. But, you know, it's a powerful journey because, number one, you have a structure of a journey, right? And so when you have a structure, you have a very high chance to actually go through material and to integrate, to apply it. And then imagine by the end of this journey, you have a really incredible connection with 7 spiritual ascended masters. So imagine your multidimensional team multiplies to 7. Whoa, what you'll be able to create. You know, when I step in the live stream container with you, I always invoke them. You know, I always invoke them. And when I feel tired on the path, or when I feel alone, or when I feel, you know, I'm working through my own human shadow, who do I call on? Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Metatron, right? Serapis Bey, Hilarion, all of them. Lao Tzu, deep relationship with Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu is coming through. Thoth, who else? Well, Ascended Master Babaji, he's going to be the last one. 5,000-year-old yogi who is able to materialize at will. If you want to learn about him, read Yogananda book, Autobiography of Yogi. I love you guys. Okay, that's it. Check it out. It'll be amazing to have you, and it's fun to dive into these powerful dimensions of consciousness together, you know? And I just hope you took away a few nuggets from this live stream. I always encourage you to share. If you resonate with this video, feel free to share, and because it will serve more people. And I think that's it. I feel I'm complete. Be blessed. Happy full moon. Do an incredible ritual on full moon of releasing any small ideas about who you are. Remember, full moon is in Aries right now. So when I go to sleep tonight, my prayer, the last thing that my subconscious mind will hear is this. It is my intention to let go of any small ideas of myself. It is my intention to let go of any projections, negative attachments, cords, blocks, any limitation. And it is my intention to align with my highest path and my highest timeline in alignment with my highest good and for the benefit of all. Something like this, but make sure that this is the last thing that you say in your mind before you drift to sleep, because the last thing that your subconscious mind hears, your subconscious mind receives and goes to implement, to work on your behalf. So it's a powerful window when you're about to fall asleep. This is your most potent time. All right, darlings. I love you very much. And I will post this replay on audio on my SoundCloud if you would like to review this on a SoundCloud. Thank you guys. Be blessed and happy full moon.